And hey guys, welcome to episode number, we don't know. We'll number them someday, but you're here with us on episode 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 of the John and Chess Show. And today, as promised from last week, we're going to talk about...
What was it? Oh, marriage, misconceptions.
I mean, ladies, how much can you relate
in
to
communication.
what just happened? Tell me.
Yeah, I totally forgot.
Well, last week we said we were talking about words, which ironically, who heard about the Morgan Wallen thing? How ironic is that happened a week after we were talking about words? But we won't get into that unless time allows, because today we promised you we would talk about marriage perceptions, the way he sees things versus how she sees things, or what have you. So, go ahead. You want to take the lead on this one?
Marriage misconceptions?
If you go back to some of our previous lives, like back in fall of 2019, early 2020, we talked about marriage a bit. We had a couple of marriage thoughts videos, and we shared a little bit of our own dirty laundry. So you can search hashtag the John and Chess Show, and you'll find that on my Facebook page. But go ahead.
Yeah, so, it comes down to this. Like, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me. No. No, really, though. Like, what is love? Like, right? It's this word that we ascribe to something that is not particularly definable, right? But, I think there's a false narrative in thinking that love is somehow tied up with emotions, right? When love...
There's an emotional component for sure.
But it has more to do with actions, right? Way back in the 90s.
Oh my gosh.
There was a Christian pop quasi-rap group, DC Talk.
Oh, yes.
But they had a song.
You guys know who that is.
They had a song called Love is a Verb, which I think the point of the song was about love is about doing. And so, it's not about the feeling, right? So like for my wife, right? Like I'm pretty sure, right? You ask most husbands, oh yeah, I love my wife. Okay. And then you talk to the wife and like, does your husband love you? I don't know. Does he love me? What communicates love? Right? There's many things that I can do. Why doesn't my wife understand that this is a demonstration of my love?
No, Lord.
Well, it isn't.
This could get dicey today.
Because it doesn't communicate love to her. Doesn't matter. Unless I'm doing things that communicate love. Now, I know for my wife...
I just don't see it the same way that he sees that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talked about this. I think we've talked about this before, like the love languages or learning your partner's Enneagram or what have you. But the love languages in particular, show you how that person receives and gives love. But if you, all your life, right, you've received or you see love as like when someone does this or says this or does these things for me, I see that as love. Then you marry this person that doesn't do those things on a regular basis, you can over time translate that as, oh, well, they must not love me as much as I love them.
Yeah. So like I know my wife, she likes things like words of affirmation.
Yeah, I want you to tell me how awesome I am.
Yeah. Thoughtful gestures and gifts.
Basically, lavish me with love. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Gestures and romantic gifts. Those are her things, right? And for me,
plan an overnight getaway.
Yeah. For me,
tell me how amazing I am.
It's not those things.
I love notes in my undie drawer.
Like if my wife, like things that communicate love to me, if my wife would go through the mail and just pay all the bills without me having to touch the mailbox. That's the box that the mail gets piled up in. Not the box where the post person puts it in. It's after it comes out of there's a box. And I just look at this box. I go through it once a month. I'm being a wuss about it, honestly.
He'd almost rather have open heart surgery.
It stresses me out to go through the mail.
I don't understand it myself, but again, what is it? Women are from Venus, men are from Mars.
Yeah, right.
It just makes no sense to me. It's paper.
Yeah, but sometimes like for me, like if Chas.
But even if I just sit there with him while he's doing it, it infinitely raises his mood.
Yeah.
I don't understand that either.
Right. But you could tell me like, honey, thanks so much for all you do, your sacrifice and all. Wouldn't mean as much to me as if she just like surprised me by going through the mail one day and like, hey, I took care of the box full of mail that you haven't looked at in 30 days.
See, so now I'm feeling like, well,
no,
I should do that more often. No, because I don't.
Right, no.
I don't want to go through the mail.
Right, nobody wants to. We don't know that. That's okay. It's okay if you don't go through the mail because it's really the reality is it's not that big a deal. It just I don't know why. I have a complex.
This is a really good example.
Maybe my father. I have like a suppressed memory. My father beat me over the head with a lot of mail. I don't know.
Oh, it's just a story you tell yourself.
Right.
Because the mail translates to bills, translates to money, translates to anxiety for John.
But everything's on most everything's on automatic payments.
I know, most of it's freaking junk mail.
I don't know.
It's literally pull it out of the box, put it in the
junk mail
burn pile, turn this into fire.
The point of that was to say like things that communicate love, right? Like for my wife, it's these things that I know that I could do. And she will understand that's me saying I love you.
So one thing that like for John is like whereas I like the gestures, I like the tell me how amazing I am. I also love spending time with him, which is his big thing too. He's quality time, and if I do something to serve him, like if I like that's what that is. That's what the mailbox is. That would be serving him. Or if I just brought him something, he'd be like, his face lights up. He's like, thanks, babe. Like he feels so seen, and oh, you thought of me, and all that. Whereas I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, thanks. That's nice. I see it as a nice gesture, but it's not like moving my soul.
Right.
Now when he hides a note, like in my undie drawer or something like that, like I mean, it's on. The moon and stars have aligned, and everything is great in the world. He has shown his love to me because, and this is what I want to talk about. This is the difference between men and women, the difference in perception. And this is something that I feel like is a really, really, really good topic because when a man and woman are dating or courting or whatever you do, and the man's pursuing the woman, she is his singular focus. Men are very tunnel visioned, and they are like, gonna get the girl. So when John and I were dating,
gotta get the mate.
He would bring notes to me. He would bring cards. Stop it. He would bring cards to my work. Like all my girlfriends were like, oh my gosh, he's so sweet. Leave me a card at work. He'd bring me a sweet note. He got up one morning like really early studying for classes and left a note in my car, a card in my car, and sat at the top of the hill of my apartment just to watch me open that. No, dudes. And you wonder why that stuff still means something to me. I mean, that like moved my soul. That's why I said yes. Hello. That's so romantic and sweet, right? And so I think that what tends to happen because women, we need to be dosed with oxytocin. That's our thing. We want to feel seen and heard and loved and cherished, and we want our man to shower us with love. That's what we need. That's how we feel valued and cherished and cared for and protected and all that stuff. So in those dating, courting years, men are really, really good at that because they have their eye on the prize, right? They're tunnel visioned. They're like, gotta get the girl. I'm gonna show her that I mean business, and here I go, and I want you, and what do you think? We're gonna do this? Like they are in it to win it, right? And then once marriage happens, and after those honeymoon years, the men tend to shift focus because now it's like career. Okay, now I'm a father. Now I've got to provide and protect my family. Got to take care of now we've got babies in the mix, and oh wow, I got to do what? What do you want me to change these diapers? Like now it's like And so they can forget.
Constantly scanning for external threats.
Protecting, which is how men are wired. That's what they do, and that's a beautiful thing. But meanwhile, the woman's over here going, "Hey, that's still
where's all that romance at?
I'd still really like to be loved, and remember me,
what?
Right?
I'm making babies over here, making dinner.
Literally just carrying your child for 9 months, no biggie, whatever. But that is something that we've had a lot of conflicts about, because I would be like, hello. And I can remember, gosh, that's probably been like 10, 12 years ago. We had a couple reach out to us who were struggling in their marriage, and some friends, and they kind of wanted some advice. And, we'd been talking about this stuff, and John tells the husband, he's like, hey, look, we men, we're kind of like compartmentalizing stuff. We have tunnel vision. We tend to we pursue the girl, we got the girl. We pursue the career, we got the career. We pursue the family, we got the family. And we're just like one thing at a time. Meanwhile, your wife's over there going, hey, I never wanted you to ever stop pursuing me. I still want that. And I feel like his advice really helps them, because they're doing amazing now. So, but that's something that men tend to drop the ball on. Not to throw you guys under the bus, but it is something that women over time, by and large, complain about, because they still want their man to see, hear, value them, show them love. Not necessarily show me love in the way that I see love, but I want to know that you see and hear me, even if it's not the way that I necessarily organically receive love. But that you are aware of my, that you still value me. You still want me there. You still love me. You still see me. It means a lot to me when John would just be like, if I'm like, hey, what's up? Are you upset about something? Like, no, babe, I just got XYZ on my mind. And he tells me, this is what I'm thinking about, and my mood is not a reflection of you. And I'm like, oh, it really means a lot to me that you tell me that. Because sometimes we can tend to take things personally, which is another thing we wanted to talk about. The way that perceptions of the way that you say things, how you can take them personally when your spouse doesn't really mean it about you at all. You have any thoughts on that?
No. Anyway, so men or women, could be either one, but some people are what you call an internal processor, and some people are an external processor. I'm an internal processor. My wife is an external processor. I could not talk or keep verbally for hours, maybe all day long.
Okay.
And in my mind, everything's fine. I'm content. But my wife's just like, he has not spoken to me all day. Does he not love me? What is up with this? What an insensitive jerk.
Also,
does he not see me over here dealing with all these issues? Kids crawling all over me, constantly. And meanwhile, he's over there, just in his corner.
In his own world.
In my fortress of solitude.
In his own world.
Thinking.
In his own head.
Or maybe shallow thoughts.
So, that is an important point. So when we have conflict and I need to get out my feelings, they're all in here. They're overwhelming my already overwhelmed brain. I got to get them out. And he needs time to process whatever I bring to him. Whereas in the earlier days of our relationship, I'd be like, talk to me. What do you think about that? I need to know what you think. Tell me what you think. Do you have any thoughts? And he'd be like, about what?
About what? What are you talking about?
All that crap I just said.
You said 20 things.
Which one?
Which specific one thing would you like a response to?
Jesus.
And I might need 12 to 24 hours to formulate.
Shoot me now. And that alone would cause more conflict much of the time, because I did not understand this need for him to have to think for a day or more about what I just said, when literally it's not that hard in my mind. Just tell me your thoughts on that. What do you think? Yeah. What do you feel? And if you go back to one of our earlier videos, again, on my Facebook profile, John talked about his emotional stuntedness and how he learned that, emotionally speaking, he had some growing to do, basically. But
Okay.
I mentioned that women need to be dosed with oxytocin. We want to feel seen, heard, valued, loved, cherished. That's our thing. That's what we need. And when we're not feeling that, or we're not feeling seen and heard, we withdraw. We tend to check out. We're out of here, or we're hurt, or what have you. For men, it's testosterone. They need it. It is the driving force in a man's life. Okay, so if he feels low, so one thing that I think is really great marriage advice that I've gotten before is that you really need to be sensitive to each other's biology. It's not even necessarily a character issue, it's your biology. He needs to be dosed with testosterone. I need to be dosed with oxytocin. What that means is he needs to feel like he's the man. In my eyes, he is the man, and he needs to feel that, see that, hear that in whatever way speaks to him. And I need to know that, to him, I am loved, cherished, valued. He loves, cherishes, and values me. So when those things aren't happening, when he feels, for example, compared to other men, like if, let's say I were to compare him to someone else and he feels inadequate or inept in any type of way, he checks out. That's a blow to his testosterone. Whereas if I feel like he's not hearing me, or he's ignoring me, or he's checked out, or he's withdrawing from me, I don't feel loved, seen, and heard, I check out. So I think it's really important as couples that we learn to be really sensitive to each other's biology, because that is pretty foundational when it comes to how to communicate and how you perceive things differently. Testosterone, oxytocin. It's super important. It's how God made us. It's a very integral part of our design. And if you try to buck against it, you're just going to be miserable. So women go offline when they're not seen and heard. I'd heard it said that way, offline. And men will do the same thing when they don't feel. I mean, would you say that's true? It's probably your least favorite thing is to ever feel like I've compared you to
No, yeah, no. When I feel, I don't know, maybe like when my ego or my man status gets slighted, I'm perfectly, whatever. I'm gonna go over here in my cave.
My man status.
And brood for an infinite or indeterminate amount of time.
And I have related to like a plant. When I don't feel loved, I'm just like that plant that needs to be watered. I'm withering over here. And what I do is withdraw. And I think he's kind of learned to pick up on my signals when he feels me withdrawing late or in the most recent months and years. And he's like, hey, what's up?
Yeah. And then also learning to be more like when my wife says, like, what's wrong? Instead of being like saying, oh, nothing, because in my mind, it might be stupid and trivial and there's no point in talking about it. Or maybe I can't even put my finger, but kind of get to the point where I can quickly just be like, okay, this is what is really bothering me right now. And it may not be related to anything related with my wife, but if I just kind of shut up and clam up and say nothing, that leaves her open to speculate. Was it something about me? Did I do something? Was it the kids? Are you not satisfied with me? Am I not adequate now? Mm. No. Maybe it's just like...
He's saying all that shiz because that's probably an argument we've had and something I've said.
And maybe I'm
just
worried about, have I changed the oil in this car? Like, maybe
But this is why I said it means so much to me when he's like, no, I'm just...
Is there enough money in the account to clear for this check I just wrote 2 days ago to clear? That could be a lot.
Gosh, we could do a whole one on this money issues and money arguments.
So, real quick though, I did want to touch on a topic. We've been married now for 23 plus years. Yes, no, it is.
I'm not nervous.
No. Anyway, 23 years, and over time we grow and adapt as people, right? So
yes,
in our early years, we come from a conservative Christian background. We had a bunch of kids. My wife spent, the better part of 2 decades just dealing with kids.
Pregnant or nursing.
Pregnant, nursing, schooling, right?
Body training.
And
disciplining.
There came to a point where, like, maybe you don't have as many kids, but women take on that burden and that role, and it's very important and very vital in society. But then at a certain point, my wife is a human being. She begins, her own sense of accomplishments and her own dreams, her own ambitions, her own self kind of needs to be expressed in a higher way. And you'll reach a point in marriage when your wife, who's been doing all these vitally important things for the success of your family, but now she, desires more for herself to grow beyond, like, okay, I've done all these, I've done the kids and I've done the schooling and I've done the homemaking and I've done this. Now, bigger and better, right? Just like as a man, you want these things, and that can lead to conflict.
Really? How's it for us? Have we conflicted over
we have,
I feel like
we moved
in that area.
Yeah, but we've known many other couples that this has been a bigger issue.
I agree.
I feel like we didn't have. I mean, we had issues, pretty sure, but not.
Well, everybody has issues.
But
when it comes to this area, John's always been super supportive, and I would do want to say that I'm obviously still homemaking and raising babies, and my youngest is 4, so I'm not done with that yet.
Yeah.
But
Chas is, you're growing in other areas. You're expressing and using your talents and abilities in other ways.
It's about to go off.
And we're about out of time, but I just want to bring that up because that's kind of a thing that we've seen in other couples throughout the years. It can be a bigger issue than it has been for us.
I think that when you're not solid, and a lot of these perceptions that you have differently can stem from your own insecurities. So, like, for example, when you were saying earlier that, like, me being like, what's wrong with you? Are you okay? That was my insecurity, and me feeling like every mood he had, everything he had something to do with me somehow. Blech, throw up in my mouth. I now know better. That is not true. That is not reality. 90% of his moods and whatever he's doing have absolutely nothing to do with me at all. Like his crankiness about our trying to get this microphone to work just 20 minutes ago was not about me at all. But earlier, Chas would have taken that personally and been like, you're just like ruining this whole moment. Why do you do this to me? Like that kind of stuff. So translating that to like when a woman wants to do other things, or she's got goals and ambitions and pursuits or what have you, and maybe her husband has insecurities, then that translates to him feeling not seen, heard, valued, not being seen as the man because he's used to being the sole provider. And now she's doing stuff and making waves in the world. And what's happening here? This is something I'm not used to. My ego feels triggered. Well, what do you think you're doing? So we've watched as a few couples have had conflict in that area. And I think it stems from insecurities on one or the other, the woman probably not feeling seen and heard and, pursued anymore. And the man, or possibly the man, not feeling dosed with testosterone, feeling like he's the man to his woman. So we're going to wrap it up for today. We could talk so much more about this topic because marriage is something that we are pretty passionate about. And we ourselves have gone through a lot of crap, passion, but we are committed to having not just a coexisting relationship where we're roommates and we're raising kids together, but we want to have, a really good marriage until one of us is gone or both of us is gone. So all right, you guys, that's it for today. We will see you next time.
Let's say it's 2021. You should be able to plug a microphone into any computer and it should work. Except it doesn't.
MacBook is a pain in the butt. Apple makes us mad.
We're out.
All right, we're out. That's it. We won't whine anymore.